General, I quote, "On 16 October 2010, World Food Day enters its 30th year. The theme of this year's observance, United Against Hunger, seeks to recognize the efforts made in the fight against world hunger by all actors at all levels and urges us to be even more united to do more. In 2009, the critical threshold of 1 billion hungry people in the world was reached, in large part due to soaring food prices and the global economic crisis. The gravity of the silent hunger crisis is the result of decades of neglect of agriculture and underinvestment in this sector. That is why on the eve of the Hunger Summit of Heads of State and Government held in Rome in November 2009, FAO launched a petition to reflect the moral outrage of the situation. And this 1 billion hungry project reaches out to persons to sign the anti-hunger petition and to work together to amplify the message that society has to take special care that no one goes hungry today. And over 1 million people have already signed, and the project is continuing. FAO has united with the popular world of professional sport, together with the European Professional Football League and other regional football leagues. A second March Day Against Hunger will be organized in Europe from 22nd to 24th October 2010 as part of the Professional Football Against Hunger Solidarity campaign. The theme, United Against Hunger, highlights the need to launch a new green revolution, while emphasizing that the task of increasing food production is a job for everyone, as is the goal of ensuring access to food. Partnerships with governments, research institutions and universities, financial institutions and regional development banks, farmer organizations, pressure groups, the UN system, civil society and the private sector are needed to work together to achieve food security for all. World food production will need to increase by 70% to feed a population of over 9 billion people in 2050. With limited land, farmers will have to get greater yields out of the land already under cultivation. Smallholder farmers and their families represent some 2.5 billion people, more than 1/3 of the global population, and it is their crucial contribution to increase food production that we want to highlight. Collaboration among international organizations play a key strategic role in directing global efforts to reach the international hunger reduction goals. It is only by working together that we can realize our common objective. In the reformed Committee on World Food Security, the UN system, member nations, representatives of civil society, farmer organizations, the private sector, as well as international agricultural research institutions and international and regional financial institutions offer an inclusive international platform for policy convergence and the coordination of action and expertise in the fight against hunger in the world. On this World Food Day 2010, when there are an estimated 925 million hungry people in the world, let us reflect on the future. Agriculture and food security are finally back on the international agenda, and with political will, determination and persistence, more food can be sustainably produced and adequately distributed. United, we can defeat hunger." End of quote. Now, in conclusion, Mr. Chairman, I would like to indicate FAO's continuous commitment to collaborate and network with all stakeholders, the UN system, as well as development partners, to ensure the harmonization of efforts to attain the common goal of eliminating hunger and poverty. For the world to be stable, it must become free of the worst forms of deprivation. For our world to be more just, the desires of the poor must be fulfilled. Thank you for your attention, and God bless.
A presentation of the UN Secretary General's message. And this is by Ms. Ruby Sandu Rujon. Ms. Ruby Sandu Rujon.
We are continually reminded that the world's food systems are not working in ways that ensure food security for the most vulnerable members of our societies. The hunger target set out in the first Millennium Development Goal to cut the proportion of hungry people by half by 2015 is a pillar for achieving all the goals. When people are hungry, they cannot break the crippling chains of poverty and are vulnerable to infectious diseases. When children are hungry, they cannot grow, learn, and develop. This year alone, millions have been thrown into life-threatening hunger by earthquakes in Haiti, drought in the Sahel, and floods in Pakistan. The food and financial crisis continue to affect the world's most vulnerable. Food prices remain volatile and recently hit a 2-year high. This year's theme for World Food Day, United Against Hunger, reflects a welcome development. A growing number of governments, intergovernmental organizations, regional and sub-regional bodies, businesses, and civil society organizations are forming partnerships and implementing joint solutions. Increasingly, their approach is comprehensive, focusing on more stable supplies of food, better access to food, and optimizing nutrition at the household level. They cover the full spectrum of food security, from smallholder farming to feeding school children. They help save lives in emergencies through food assistance. In recent months, there has been more attention to nutrition and getting the right food to the right people at the right time. This calls for agriculture, health, and social security systems to be sensitive to the nutritional needs and for specific interventions to improve the nutrition of children from conception to the age of 2 years. I urge everyone to work towards such a comprehensive approach and to do so in partnership so that we can build on the progress we have made in reducing the numbers of hungry people. Let us unite against hunger and ensure food and nutrition security for all. I thank you.
The representative for the country director, World Food Program, Nime Name, directors of Ministry of Food and Agriculture, the leader and founder of Amen Amen Church, members of the World Food Day Planning Committee, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it an honor to address this 30th World Food Day celebration. Indeed, I wish to express my appreciation and satisfaction to the FAO, WFP, and members of the National Planning Committee for the able manner they have organized this year's World Food Day celebration with a tight budgetary resource at their disposal. Mr. Chairman, the theme of this year's celebration, United Against Hunger, is unique in that it recognizes efforts being made by various international and national bodies, groups, and organizations to fight food insecurity at national, regional, and international levels. Mr. Chairman, FAO statistics and data estimate that in 2009, the threshold of 1 billion hungry people in the world was reached. That is to say that at that time, 1 out of every 6 world citizens went to sleep hungry. The FAO reports that agricultural growth has been low to negative over the past decade, and agricultural income is highly variable from year to year. Presently, Africa hosts half of the number of the low-income and food deficit countries in the world, and 34 of the least developed countries in the world can be found in Africa.